Hi Libra, and welcome to your horoscope for May 2025. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. My horoscopes are based on the UK time zone, and please watch them in this order: for your rising sign first, then for your sun sign, and finally for your moon sign. So I'm going to break May down into 4 weeks. I'm going to pay particular attention to what the moon is doing, how it moves through your chart, which houses it sits in and when, so that you know what areas of life you're supported in May, and how to make the most of that. So week 1, Thursday the 1st until Sunday the 4th of May, which isn't really a week, it's 4 days. On the 1st of May, we have the moon in Gemini, and that is in your 9th house of travel, education, and the higher realms. So if you're a student, it's the perfect day to kind of cram for the exam, to get all the information in. It's also a great day to kind of broaden your horizons, to go on a trip, to learn something. And also, if you're trying to have some sort of spiritual breakthrough, the 1st of May is really wonderful for you. Jupiter is growth, it's prosperity, it's good luck, it's good fortune, and it's the biggest planet in our solar system. So it's about doing something that's big. So anything where you really want to expand into a particular area, the 1st of the month is the day to do it. Now, the 1st of May is a Celtic festival called Beltane, and it means that we're halfway from the spring equinox to the summer solstice. And it's at this time of year that the cattle were let back out onto the fields, and nature was warming up again. By the way, astrology is based on the northern hemisphere, but it doesn't matter whether you're watching this in the southern hemisphere or in the northern hemisphere, the energy is the same. So on the 1st of May as well, what reminded me is there is a Persian festival, and excuse my pronunciation, it's Çarşamba Suri, and it's a fire festival that happened on the 18th of March this year, and it's the day before Nowruz, which is the Persian New Year. And Beltane, to me, this year is kind of like Çarşamba Suri. It's the beginning of something completely new. And in this ritual, what happens is they create a fire, and the person, the fire jumper, has to leap over the fire. And it's a wonderful kind of symbolic process, I feel, because you have to build up your courage and your confidence and your strength to say, I'm going to be able to jump over this. And I'm jumping over into an uncertain future. So you're jumping into a new year completely voluntarily, completely with total willingness, which is almost like I'm embracing this new year, regardless of what it brings me, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the perfect. I'm here for it. I'm going to show up completely, which in my experience, the universe rewards that kind of attitude. And also, by jumping over the fire, you're kind of cleansing yourself. You're detoxing anything negative that was still lingering. You're letting go of the past, anything that kind of exists in your subconscious. So it's a wonderful start to this month, and I would like you to treat this like the beginning of a whole new year, or like a whole new season. And this is now the season to build and to create. What's strongly associated with May is Taurus, because the sun is in Taurus for the first 20 days of the month. And Taurus is an earth sign that's very much about it's a fixed earth sign, so it's about creating and building things. So what is it that you want to build in your life? What do you want to what structures do you want to create? Ask yourself that question. Then on the 2nd and 3rd, the moon moves into Cancer, and it goes into your 10th house of work, and that allows you to take care of anything work related, especially anything that you're not particularly interested in, anything that you've procrastinated on, or any part of the job that isn't your favorite kind of aspect of your career. Look at those things. You'll have the patience and the presence of mind to deal with those things and to get them out of the way. Then on the 4th, we've got the moon going into Leo, and it joins Mars and your transiting ascendant in Leo in your 11th house of hopes and dreams. And again, this is a wonderful day because the moon is your heart and Mars is ambition and drive. And the 4th of May is really going to show you this is what I'm passionate about, this is what I want, this is who I am, and this is the kind of life I want to build for myself. On the same day, the 4th of May, Pluto, the planet of transformation and change, death and rebirth, that goes retrograde until the 13th of October. And when the outer planets are retrograde, the energy is expressed inwardly. And it's in your 5th house of what you love to do and who you love. So getting a clear understanding of this is what I want to be doing with my life in terms of work, life purpose, career. And also this is the type of person I want to be with if you're single. If you kind of contemplate that a little bit and give it a bit of thought, and remember it opposes all that fire energy in your 11th, how does this match my hopes and dreams for the future? So try and kind of create a narrative in your mind's eye, use your creativity to identify what your ideal life would look like. And then see what messages come up, see what images appear, and then take note of those and intend to build them and to create them and to make them a reality here in May and also beyond. Mercury, Venus, and Mars, all the personal planets, are direct all month. So as far as the stars are concerned, it's all systems go. With Mercury being direct, expect very few issues with communication or transportation. Venus being direct, Venus being your ruler, it's time to start new relationships. It's time to start new businesses. And Venus and Mercury are both in Aries in your 7th house. So it's time to make a new beginning or to give life to something new that you want. And with Mars, ambition and drive, that's also in a fire sign, that's in Leo, in your 11th. Your ambition is going to be about you and what can I do with my life to make it exceptional and wonderful? And how do I create a life that I really want to live and that I enjoy and that I love? So in these first 4 days, we've got a lot happening, but the moon starts in your 9th and it ends up in your 11th house. And that's the very top of your chart. So what is it that you want to learn? What is it that you want to take care of career-wise? But ultimately, what is it that you want to do instead if your existing job isn't everything that you want it to be? What is the ideal job? Who is the ideal person to be with? What is it that you want to create? Week 2, Monday to Sunday, the 5th to the 11th of May. On the 5th, the moon is still in Leo, so same thing, focus on your hopes and dreams and how they can become a reality. Then on the 6th, 7th, and 8th, the moon goes into Virgo, and that's really interesting because Virgo is an earth sign. It's ruled by Mercury, the communication planet. And when Mercury is in Virgo, it's in listening mode. It's I pay attention, I read, I assess the info that's coming in. Rather than doing all the talking and doing all the informing, I'm actually letting myself be taught and I'm letting myself be educated here. And it's in your 12th house, and the 12th house usually is very ethereal and spiritual and intangible. And with this moon in Virgo in your 12th house, the moon in Earth, it's almost like you're going to find it easy during this 3-day period to receive practical messages on how you can make your hopes and dreams a reality and how the higher realms are working with you in order to make your dreams a reality. On the 6th and 7th, we have the Eta Aquarids meteor shower, which you'll be able to view best in the southern hemisphere. And the meteor shower stems from the constellation of Aquarius, which is a sign that has to do with being a humanitarian. It's a sign of the water bearer. It's about detoxing. It's about doing something that's good for the public and for everyone involved. So it allows you to see beyond the details of your own life, and it allows you to look at what would be the greatest good for everyone involved. So you see, you're focused on your own hopes and dreams, but you're not short-sighted here. You're not seeing yourself as just being alone on an island or being part of a vacuum. You exist with other people, you exist on planet Earth. So what I think is a good idea to say, how can I realize my own hopes and dreams? But how can I do that in a way which benefits other people? And what I'd also think would be a good idea is to make a wish and to wish upon a star for another person. So to say, instead of wishing that, I find the perfect job, instead, I'm going to make that happen. I'm not just going to wish and sit around and be passive. Make a wish for someone else who may not be as focused as you are. Then on the 9th and 10th, we have the moon going into your sign of Libra. And these 2 days are great for you to connect with yourself, to connect with other people, to work creatively, to take a bit of time off, to just chill, to relax, to detox, to unwind, to decompress. On the 10th of May, we have Mercury, the communication planet, that ingresses into Taurus, and it goes into your 12th house of, not into your 12th house, into your 8th house of institutions, authorities. And traditionally, the 8th house is the house of death and the house of the taboo, the things that we don't want to look at. And what's also in there is your transiting midheaven, which is work, your sun, the identity you're striving towards, and Uranus, which is the miraculous and the unexpected. And now with all of those being in Taurus in your 8th, how do you see yourself as an institution in your own right? What is it that you could do that could create total independence for you in your life? And what steps would be required for you to completely liberate yourself? So if you're a Libra who's felt stuck or who's felt controlled or who's felt like, oh, I've got very few options in my life, this is a month, especially the first 2 weeks here, where you're able to revisit all of those things and to say, actually, I'm going to make some changes and I'm going to behave differently so that the outcome is very different. Then on the 11th, we've got the moon going into Scorpio. And it also stays in Scorpio on the 12th and 13th in week 3. And it goes into your second house of money. What's also in there is Black Moon, Lilith, Vesta, and Juno. So on the 11th, 12th, and 13th of May, you will... the moon is your heart, it's your intuition, it's your feeling. In Scorpio, it's able to dive beyond the surface of things and to get to the core truth of what's really happening. And this will show you how you can create an income, how you can create security for yourself by being self-employed, if that's something you've considered, or if the job that you're in is right for you, or if you can make a change. Ultimately, it allows you to examine the institutions you belong to and that you're a part of and how you benefit from being a part of those, whether you want to make any changes to those relationships, or whether you want to turn the whole thing on its head and say, I am the institution, I'm the boss, I'm the person who runs the business, and how am I going to influence the world and have an effect on the environment and society? So any Libra who has been feeling disempowered or undecided, these first 2 weeks here are really going to give you all of that power and say, if there's anything that you want to be different, it can be. You take the action and things will change. So the moon starts on the 5th in your 11th house of hopes and dreams, and it ends up on the 11th in your second house of money. And that's the left-hand side of your chart, with the ascendant being at the center of it. The ascendant is your default setting. It's who you see yourself to be. So how can you, during this second week, make your life and the way it looks externally fit the way you feel internally? And what changes can be made so that you're living a life that you want to be living? Week 3, Monday to Sunday, the 12th to the 18th of May. On the 12th and 13th, we still have the moon in Scorpio. Then on the 14th and 15th, it goes into Sagittarius in your third house of communication and perspective. And these 2 days, the 14th and 15th, this is where you may discover the way out, or the golden ticket, or the thing that allows you to create the kind of life that you want for yourself. So make sure you pay attention, that you explore, that you step outside of your comfort zone. You may discover something or someone who allows you or enables you to make your dreams a reality. Then and by the way, on the 12th of May, we have a full moon in Scorpio. So that sense of, am I in the right job? Am I in the right position? That sense of, I'm getting an answer to those questions, that will be at its strongest during the 12th of May. On the 16th, 17th, and 18th, the moon goes into Capricorn, and that goes into your fourth house of family. So that's interesting, because that's going to be very different, and it may almost be like holding up a mirror to everything you've done so far this month, because that's going to prompt you to work towards helping someone in your family, in your inner circle, and to be of service to another person. And it will allow you to see what you're giving and what you're getting in return. And you can then expand that and apply it to your entire life and say, what is it that I'm producing or expressing or giving out? And what do I get for that in return? And if it's imbalanced, it's an opportunity for you to, again, create balance there. And you being Libra, the scales, life is all about balance for you. And if there's something where you're giving and not getting anything in return, then you're able to put a stop to that and to say enough already. Week 3, the moon starts on the 12th in your second house of money, and it ends on the 18th in your fourth house of family. So that's the very bottom of your chart. That's your roots. So that examines or allows you to examine what makes me feel grounded and like I belong. And is this home that I've chosen, is this reality that I rely on, as this is what gives me structure and comfort and a sense of belonging in life, is that still appropriate, or is that something that I want to change as well? Now, finally, week 4, and it's not really a week, it's pretty much half the month. It's Monday to Saturday, the 19th to the 31st of May, and the moon is in Aquarius on the 19th and 20th, and that's in your 5th house of what you love to do work-wise and who you love. And what's also in there is Pluto and Pallas. So again, you'll get ideas around, this could be a good fit, this could be a good alternative in terms of work, or this could be a person that I'm interested in. Let me pay attention to that. Then the 21st, 22nd, the moon goes into Pisces, and it goes into your 6th house of work and daily routine. It sits next to the North Node and Saturn that are also in Pisces in that 6th house. If I'm looking at your natal chart, the North Node shows me your life purpose. So in this case, it shows me what direction you're moving into at this point in your life. And the North Node is at 24 degrees in Pisces, and it says, how can I create a living environment that supports me and that gives me a sense of belonging and structure, but that also has greater meaning and gives me a sense that I'm making a positive contribution, or I'm being a force for good, or I'm helping out other people. So again, it's an opportunity to kind of revisit everything that you're doing, that you're taking for granted, and if it's no longer suitable, to make changes to that. On the 20th of May, we have the sun going into Gemini, and it goes into Gemini in your 9th house. It joins Jupiter in the part of fortune. So learning and finding other alternatives, that's really where you're blessed and supported, and that's where the luck factor is, that if you're not satisfied with the way things are, you'll be able to find alternatives very easily. On the 24th of May, Saturn enters Aries, and it goes into your seventh house of relationships. And on the 23rd and the 24th, the moon goes into Aries as well. So on these 2 days, we've got Saturn, Neptune, Venus, your ruler, Chiron, and the moon. They're all in Aries in your seventh house of relationships. So that will allow you to take charge of your relationships and to say, it's time for me to realize my hopes and dreams when it comes to relationships. And that's any kind of relationship. So my relationship to work, or my relationship with my friends, or my family relationships. What is it that I want to accomplish? What do I want to get going? What do I want to build for myself? On the 25th and 26th, the moon goes back into Taurus, and it goes into your eighth house of institutions and authorities. It sits next to Uranus and Mercury. So if you're a Libra who's into investments, savings, looking at your finances, if you're selling a property or buying a property, these 2 days are the best to focus on financial matters. Then on the 27th and 28th, the moon goes into Gemini and joins all those other positive influences in your ninth house, Jupiter, Mercury, and the transiting midheaven. And particularly on the 27th of May, we have the new moon in Gemini. So a new moon is when the moon is starting its next cycle. It's pitch black, it's pulling in a ton of energy. And in the ninth house, that's pretty much the top of your chart. It's saying, Libra, here's all of the information and here are all the different options that are available to you. Make sure that you're walking through doorways that you want to be walking through, and make sure that you change your life if you want it to change. It's down to you. You're a free person. No one is forcing you to do anything, and anything is possible. On the 29th and 30th, the moon goes back into Cancer in your 10th. So again, 2 days where you're able to take care of things that need doing as far as your existing work is concerned. And then on the final day of the month, on the 31st, the moon goes into Leo, and it joins Mars in Leo in your 11th house. And that is a nice ending to the month, because again, what are my hopes and dreams? How do I want to build those hopes and dreams in earnest? And on the 31st, Venus is going to be at its greatest western elongation. So you're going to be able to see the planet really in a very bright way in the eastern sky just before sunrise. And Venus is the opposite to Mars. Mars is the male principle, Venus is the female principle. And Venus is your ruler. It'll be twinkling at you on the 31st of May. It's in Aries in your seventh house. And ultimately the question is, hey Libra, what is your relationship to your life? Are you satisfied with the relationship or relationships that you have? Or do you want to take charge of your circumstances and build new ones or different ones? And only ones that you can see, that not necessarily other people are aware of, but what are your hopes and dreams, and how can you make them happen in earnest? So in this final 13 days of the month, the moon starts on the 19th in your fifth house of what you love, and it ends up on the 31st in your 11th house of hopes and dreams. So that's the northeastern side of your chart. It's houses 5 and 6, then it's the third quarter, houses 7, 8, and 9, and then it's your 10th and 11th houses. So the last 13 days are really all about, where do I belong? What exists already, and where are there gaps in my life that I want to fill, and how can I fill those, not just by going to other people and asking for help and support, but how can I build those things on my own? How can I make them happen for myself by taking action to create realities that I'm going to be absolutely delighted with? So Libra, it looks like a super empowering month for you. I hope you have a wonderful time. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to order your reading with me. To draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then there's a process called chart rectification. You send me 10 or more life events, significant life events, and I can manually work out your time of birth. So if you're interested in that, please get in touch. Once I have your chart in front of me, it shows me your life purpose, your vocational aptitudes, what your natural strengths are, where you may have to put in a little bit of effort and work. To look at what's coming up in future, I look at your progress chart and your transits. And also if it's near your birthday, I look at your solar return chart. And to look at locations that will work for you, so actual places in the world, I look at the astrocartography. So that's your natal chart, but rather than me on Earth looking up, it's the other way around. I look down on planet Earth, see how the planets were moving over different parts of the Earth, and how different places are going to work for you. So is Adelaide the best place for you to live? Or is it New York? Or is it London? Or is it Dubai? Or which places have particular influences on you? And how can you make the most of that by putting yourself in the right location? So if you have any of those questions, please do get in touch. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. Hit subscribe for future videos, and please share the video online with someone you know. That's what helps the channel grow. Have a fabulous May, and I'll speak to you next month. All the best.